Welcome back, gamers. Today we're going to review some No Man's Sky. Alright, so I've been playing 30 plus hours of the PS4 version of this game. I just got the PC version to see what's up with it and see what's different. I noticed on the PC version you got the FOV slider, you got 4K resolution, a little bit better control, and the graphics look a little bit more decent because you're using PC power. But the thing is, the game is still a piss poor port. And of course, Steam is blowing up because people can't run the game, and there's a lot of optimization issues, which they're probably gonna fix. But they can't do anything about fixing the game being a really mediocre. You know, before I get into this, the thing about this is that this game was created by 15 people. By 15 people from a studio called Hello Games. And the developers were very vague about their games. They were very vague. So the problem with people is they hype up this game, and with the developers being very vague, they started fabricating all these stories about the game. The journalists did it, gamers did it, and they overhyped it to a point where it didn't meet the expectations of many people. So I hope many people learned a lesson that overhyping something never works out real well. They managed to sell an indie game for $60. I'm sorry, I want to say right now, there are other games in early access, $15, that are survival games and explorations that just outshines this game in every way, because No Man's Sky is very mediocre. And I'll talk about why after I tell you what is the most impressive aspect to this game. Now, this is my own opinion, so you don't have to take it to heart, but the first thing I like about this game is the music of the game. The music of the game is really well done. If you listen to music, it plays at the right time, and it's just very immersive for the game. Now, the second thing that's very impressive in this game is the algorithm and how it works in the game. The planets are all randomized through a pool of already picked parts and biomes that they created. Winter weathers, heat weathers, toxic rain, radiation storms. And then if you look out in the sky, you'll see the stars, you see the planet nearby. That, to me, adds immersion. That's awesome, too. I like that a lot, and I think that's a great feature to this game, and also something that many of you will feel when you play the game. Now, those are the only two things I love about this game. So what is the purpose of No Man's Sky? What is the damn purpose of the game? It's to reach the center of the universe, or the galaxy, wherever you're in. And it's going through 18 quintillion planets. The game uses a procedurally generated algorithm, which is very impressive. And, you know, you get a mix and match of planets and creatures that inhabits the planet. Now, that goal is accomplished by farming and mining the planets, finding blueprints and upgrades, and that's the entire game itself. You farm on the planets that you visit by keeping a shield bar up. Now, there's also other technology you can craft on your character to help you counter the dangerous environment. And in order to recharge it, all you have to do is go into your inventory, charge it up with the materials you farm, and so on. That's the basic gameplay. So it's pretty shallow in terms of what you have to do to survive. Nothing too complex, very easy. So it gets really repetitive after you play for 30-40 hours. The other thing about the planets that you'll notice is that for every solar system you arrive to or jump to, there's always going to be a bunch of spaceships in space. There's going to be randomized buildings on the planet, no matter which planet it is. None of the planets are really barren after all, because you'll always find buildings on it, whether it's derelict or it has one alien in there, one species of alien over there waiting to give you a blueprint, or a derelict building, or some type of monument to learn language. That's what you're gonna find on the planets. And you want to learn the languages, you want to find the blueprints to progress, and that's what you're gonna do throughout the entire game. There's no such thing as a barren planet, because there's always something on the planet. And it makes the game loses that value of epic exploration and epic journey of you discovering a planet, because in this game, you don't really discover any of the planets. All 18 quintillion planets are completely discovered by some other race already. And it's just so it just loses that epic value and that journey through the entire game. Another thing you'll notice is that there are no planets with rings, and there are no giant gases that you can land on. And pretty much most of the planets in the solar system itself are quite close to each other, that you're able to see it off planet every single time. As for the sentient beings in the galaxy, well, there's only 3 of them in the entire game. You'll see them over and over again, you'll learn their language, and eventually understand what they're saying. And you learn blueprints from them. That's their purpose. They don't have massive cities, they don't have villages or gatherings that you'll see. You'll see one on the planet sometimes, and then on the space station, and you get a choice of answers that you can pick from. Now, choosing the answers will get you reputations with the race. It doesn't really earn you anything except a way to talk to them and earn blueprints and solve situations. The other race you'll see in the game is a machine race, and they're mostly your enemies because there's a space police. Whatever you do on the planet can aggravate them. Sometimes they're passive, sometimes they're aggressive, but there's only 3 types of them you'll see throughout the entire game. A spear type, a quadrupedal type, and a bipedal type. And they're not too smart either. They shoot lasers, you can kill them, earn blueprints, earn materials, and that's it. The combat is kind of stale when it comes to fighting them. Sometimes they'll chase you off the planet on their spaceship also. Now the life forms and aliens you'll see in the game is pretty interesting on the planet because they're all mixed and matched and they all have different sounds they make depending on what type of creature it is. You'll see big ones, small ones, and it's kind of like watching that kid Sid from Toy Story mix and match his toys. You'll see a lot of mix and matches, you'll see strange aliens, some cool ones. It all depends on your luck. And it's very interesting because after you see them, you'll hear them make noise and it kind of matches them. But after extended play, you'll start seeing the same resources used for the other aliens over and over again. And it kind of gets stale in that aspect. The other part that makes it stale for me, it could be my RNG luck, but the AI of the alien wasn't too impressive. You don't see too much of them feeding on grasses or eating from trees or drinking from water. They don't really display too much life to them. Most of the times when I see the creatures, they run around in freaking circles. The carnivores aren't too much of a threat to you because they're really easy to kill off, especially since you have the technology and the laser to just point at them and shoot them. Now some of the life forms, you can actually interact with them and give them food and play with them, and that's pretty much it. There is no taming, you can't ride them or do anything too impressive. You can also take pictures and upload them, rename the creatures, rename the plant life, and of course, as you discover waypoints and also take these pictures and upload them, eventually, if you take all of it, you'll pretty much earn a set amount of units, which is the game's currency, that you can use to trade in the game and also upgrade your ship and so on. And where do these uploads and renaming go? It goes online so that when the person discovers your planet or if they have a chance of running into your planet, they'll see it. Kind of pointless because there's no aspect of multiplayer in the game, and we'll get into that in a bit later. And as for space combat in the game, it's kind of cool. Traveling in space at hyperspeed, great to look at, but the ships in the game is something that bothers the heck out of me. Every ship you buy in the game feels exactly the same, no matter what weight it is, no matter how big the ship is, you'll always feel like you're in the same ship throughout the entire game. And as you upgrade your ship, you earn a fixed amount of units. You can't really trade your ship in, because every time you buy a more expensive ship, it's a complete buyout. So you get rid of your old ship, you buy a new ship, it feels the same, and every single damn ship in this game is almost invincible to crashing into planets or even space stations. So the only time that you can take damage in your ship is when you get hit by another faction or other ships shoot at you. That's it. And no worries, even if you get killed in the game, on the planet or in space, you can always come back to the point where you died and retrieve your items. Now this part also bugs me because there are certain times pirates will come after you and say they're gonna steal your booty because you have loot on you, you have resources. What's funny about it is even if you get shot by these pirates, they will always never take your loot. You can always get it back. I've always seen my loot sitting in one place. I go there, grab it back, easy peasies. No sense of real challenge to the game. As for the space combat itself, it felt like a cartoony Elite Dangerous to me, but less intensive because of all the fact that's in on this, like the weight of the ship and how it feels in space, and also the fact that most of the enemies just zoom in on you and shoot you regardless. It can kill you easily if you don't have an upgraded ship, but if you do have an upgraded ship, the dogfight becomes less and less fun. It just becomes more of a chore than anything. Finally, there is no multiplayer in this game. There was many talk about the videos in the past. You can see each other if you discover each other by chance, but discovery of each other is so low, it might not even happen. And so he thought that people wouldn't discover each other or run into each other, but there was. And it happened to be two streamers who ran into each other and couldn't see each other. You know, it's funny because I saw on Twitter, like, his response was, "I can't believe how many people are playing this game. This is incredible, so many people." And he backs up the door and just runs off while people are trying to question. And that really irks a lot of people. People got angry because they couldn't see each other in the game. I kind of knew it was single player only, but the fact is that they were so vague about it, people thought there was some sort of multiplayer in the game, but there isn't. And this game completely lacks multiplayer of any kind except for uploading the names of aliens that you discover in the planet. And by doing so, other people can see your naming of them. Yay, whoop. Anyways, do I hate the game? No, not necessarily, because I think the game does some really nice things that are really cool and has a lot of potential. But the way they approached it and the way they made the combat and the gameplay itself was just so mediocre, it just doesn't capture my attention. The only way I think this game can be saved right now is from modding and DLC updates if Sean Murray releases them, and that hopefully will fix the game up, maybe. The only biggest reason I've seen from this game, honestly, is that Sony went around waving this game and parading it as a $60 AAA title. And we gamers know what a AAA title is. We seen them, it's worked by hundreds of people, sometimes it has a lot of flaws, people complain about the servers and de novo and all this crap, but when you look at the game, you can tell it's a AAA title. This is an indie title, marked as a $60 game, potentially even an early access game. You don't believe me? Get on Steam, get on your PC, go to early access, type survival, check out games such as, I don't know, Subnautica, you have Empyrean, you have Starbound, even though it's underwhelming, it's still pretty good and has exploration and epic adventures. You have The Forest, you have Ark, where you can tame dinosaurs and ride them around on multiplayer and kill people. All these games are just like some example of the survival genres. Hell, let's go ahead and throw in Don't Starve into the mix. Don't Starve is a great game. It even has more exploration than this game did. And for 60 bucks, you can buy like 3 or 4 of those and have a blast. But hey, I'm not gonna stop you from enjoying No Man's Sky. If you enjoy the game, then so be it. Just keep playing the game. That's all I gotta say. In conclusion, I think Sean Murray should run for politics. He has a knack for it. I hope this helps many of you guys out there from overhyping video games in the future and also learning what's gonna happen down the road for gaming, because this is a huge change, especially for people who has their trust in developers, who has their trust in AAA games, or maybe indie titles. It's gonna change, so maybe it'll change for the better. Thanks for watching, guys, and game on. That's what happened when you farm too much in this game. After 60 hours, kind of throw a grenade on the ground and you fall through the world. Farmalicious.